Good evening, folks. Here we are, Pints and Politics. I'm Mike Weiner. My friend here, Drew Peterson. I screwed up the intro already, so
It's awesome.
bear with us. We're just going to wing this thing. It's 9:30 on a Friday evening. We're in Alexandria. We're going to talk about legislative session, some bills that are coming up, and also one of the things we're going to hit is caucuses.
Yep.
And by the time this comes out, I think it's going to be right in front of caucuses or right before. But there again, that statistic that we talked about earlier, somewhere in the mid 90% of the endorsed candidates win their races. So show up, get involved. You have direct say in who your candidates are. In a lot of these races, that endorsement is the real race.
Yeah, and I'm going to quote Steve Boyd. We were at one of his events today, checking it out. Steve said, if you want your voice heard, one of the best ways to do it is at the caucus because it's a much smaller group. And yeah, because a smaller group, you're going to be heard a lot better than in a larger group.
There's more impact, and the system is there for the grassroots. It's an amazing system when you look at how it's laid out. That endorsement is huge. That's the people's voice saying this is who we want for our candidate. So it's absolutely essential for people to get involved. This is a participation sport,
Yeah,
basically, right? If you want to have direct say in your politics, your politicians, become a delegate, go to caucus and get signed up. That's crucial. So I've given my spiel there. Let's talk about legislation.
Yeah, how was it? We're on week 2 now talking about.
Week 2 of the legislative session.
Yep. And I've heard rumors that we got a gun control bill.
I did not look through all of the bills.
Is it one or is it several?
There are several pieces of legislation. Some of them will proceed, some of them don't. There's somewhere in the realm of about 4,000 bills already entered this session. So you got to remember, a small portion of them move on, right? But now people have asked me, what do you think about the legislation bill? What do you think about the assault weapon ban that's going on? There's on the Senate side, there's some senators who are saying, we're not gonna approve this. So it's dead in the water when it comes to Senate. I disagree.
I'm gonna believe that when I see it.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I get a little bit of hope because it is an election year, and a very contentious one at that. And
here's the flip side of that argument, because I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
They have the trifecta.
They do.
And they may not have it again. So I think.
How selfish do you think they are?
Do you really want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm being sincere because at the one end, yeah, they can push through an agenda, but at the risk of their easy, cushy job, not to be rude, but it's probably a really cushy job if all you do is sit there.
No, think about it strategically.
Okay.
As a Democrat, you might not get your chance to get these bills through again.
Are they
if the Republicans take the House next year, now we're back in a divided government. So how is that going to factor in? They pushed so much through last year, and I think they're going to push certain things again through this year. And what that's all going to be, it's hard to tell. But do not stop putting pressure on.
Yeah,
it's stupid. Until that gavel falls on the end of session, nothing is dead.
Yep, that's.
We can see an omnibus bill that's going to have things put into it at the last 2 weeks of session. So no, I think it is absolutely wrong. And I know there's representatives and other people out there who are saying these gun bills are dead in the water, or this bill is that dead in the water. No, you keep fighting like you're 10 points down, because they are going to keep pushing like they're running up the scoreboard.
Yep. Yeah, well,
sports analogy here.
Yeah, well, don't stop fighting because it ain't over until the fat lady sings.
That's right.
I love that expression.
So there again, and I talked to some people today, we're probably going to have some rallies, going on the next, probably in March, when we get through caucuses and a few other things, and inform people of what's happening. We did it last year with a couple different things. Yeah, looking forward to doing that again this year. People want to know what's going on in session. They want to know what they should be working against or for. And we're probably going to do that sometime in March, April, different locations.
Awesome.
looking forward to that.
Are those rallies going to be at the Capitol or?
No, usually what I do is it's an informational thing. It's out in the district. You know, we come home on a weekend and maybe up in Wadena. We've got a group up in Park Rapids that I talked to the other day. They're very fired up. They want to know what's going on. They're very active. So Park Rapids, Wadena, probably Long Prairie, and we'll probably even have some into the Stearns County area. Shreveport, Melrose, good groups down there. And it's meant to inform people.
Okay.
It's meant to educate and then let them know what they can do, you know, to get their voices heard.
Perfect, because that's really like this time of year. That's what it's all about, getting your voice heard. Speaking out about the things you care about, like the gun control thing. It's just for me, I look at it as a human nature kind of a deal. I guess I'm weird like that, but like owning a gun is basically just owning a means to defend yourself, and defending yourself is a human right. It exists beyond government. Anything that anyone could ever give you, it is there.
I've kind of compared it to it's the great equalizer,
Well, the
right?
gun is, and that's why it's so important that we keep them. Like
No,
if we had like if we were like 500 years ago, you'd want a sword because it's well
or a
actually a
bow,
spear. Yeah,
yep.
spear is
Something to
probably
keep your opponent at a greater distance.
something to keep you not dead. If I were to put it simply,
Sure. Yeah,
because I
something like
mean
that.
there is a right to life.
Well, you have the right to defend yourself, to protect
Yeah.
yourself. Your home
Well,
is your
it's not
castle.
it's not just a right; it's an obligation. You're supposed to.
Sure.
Like it's your
Right.
duty.
Now, one of the things that's statistics that's very interesting is gun ownership. And it's happened over the last several years. The number of both Democrats and women who have bought handguns, particularly, has increased exponentially over the last few years. Now, you're going to take away, think about this. So you've got maybe a single mother
Yeah.
or somebody that's living on their own. Maybe it's an elderly parent, you know, out in my area. And you're going to take away that person's ability to defend themselves. Because statistically, we normally look at it and say, oh, the aggressor is going to be a male,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Think about that. Do you want your wife, your sister, your mother to have the opportunity to protect herself? Yes, absolutely. And what you're saying by taking away these rights, the gun rights, is you don't want your wife, your sister, your mother to protect herself.
Yep. And it's not just that because having the ability also provides a sense of security. So you're also taking away a sense of security. And that's got to be awful for mental health.
Live in fear?
Yeah, you like people go crazy.
Look at the crime in Murderapolis right now. You know what's going on. It is getting bad. I mean, car
Every day.
threatings and so forth.
Every day.
This is the effects of the defund the police movement by the Democrats and pushing for basically the criminals are protected and the law-abiding citizens are turned into you know, the perpetrators.
Yep.
It,
Well,
it's a
what's interesting to me is that not only are they taking away your best ability to defend yourself, but they're also taking away the people who are supposed to be charged with defending you.
look at the environment in the metro right now.
Yeah.
Hundreds of officers down in I just thought about Burnsville. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
We had the sheriffs at
Yeah,
the
we
Capitol.
should bring that up.
Yep, we had the sheriffs at the Capitol this week. It was great to see our local sheriffs down there.
Was it 3 cops who got shot in
There
Burnsville?
was 2 police officers, and our condolences to the families. One firefighter, that's the first firefighter, first responder that has been killed in the line of duty in the state of Minnesota, the way I understand it, in that kind of in a shooting, I guess. It is an absolute shame. That's right. But now the first thing that the Democrats are coming out doing is saying we need more gun laws. That's not the case here. They're using a tragedy for their political games again without really taking into let's just take a step back here. Give the families a chance to grieve. Let's talk about why we're in this situation. It was discussed this evening too about changing hearts and minds. Why are we in a society where that violence and stuff is out there so prevalent now? Taking away the person's right to defend themselves is not the answer. So our condolences to the city of Burnsville, the community of Burnsville, the families of the officers and the first responder as well. The funeral is Wednesday, if I remember correctly.
February 28th.
I believe so. It's Wednesday. So our thoughts and prayers out to the family of those officers that served so well and died in the line of duty.
It really is. It's a tragedy. It's really what it is. The thing is, the answer to that, to trying to get less of that, because you can't undo it, unfortunately. That's what sucks. But you can't fix it with gun laws. You got to fix it with making people better. You got to invest in your community, like not money, but like just put in an effort to try and get people to get along. That's really, really hard to do.
It is, and things are well. We've turned into a society where we're not compassionate anymore. Religion had played such a vital role in our society.
It brought people together.
Exactly, and
It
attendance at
unified people.
churches, yeah, attendance at churches has just declined for the last 50 years. So there's all of these things that we can do better, but changing the law to attack the Second Amendment, to take away the ability of people to protect themselves, it's not the right answer.
No.
What else did we want to talk about today?
See, I think so. We hit gun, the legislation coming down. Actually, I think we had a short one planned today, anyhow. Yeah, it's only been
Boy,
yeah, it's a real short. Holy crap.
well, let's talk about a little bit of legislation. SROs,
Oh yeah,
school resource
I
officers.
think we touched on that last week.
We did, and we're trying to get the Democrats, and there's been an emphasis, and that's kind of stalled a little bit because of the situation with the Burnsville officers. Um, but Representative Jeff Whitty, who sits right next to me on the floor, he is an ex SRO officer, an ex police officer, and he is working trying to get some concessions, some working agreement with the other side so that we can change some of the issues that arose because of this bad bill.
Yeah,
And it's not going to fix it entirely, but hopefully it can make it a little bit better.
yeah, hopefully. Yeah, and then what was it? Did we talk about sanctuary states last week?
Oh, sanctuary states.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
glad you brought that up.
yeah, again, I think it's been announced dead at arrival, or
There
someone's
again,
saying that, but like it's not over till the fat lady sings.
till that gavel drops, do not presume that these
Yep.
bills are dead on arrival.
Yep. So that
Don't.
is something that came up, and just that's something to be aware of. Just because I'm not a big fan of sanctuary state idea, because I look at a city like St. Cloud, it's a sanctuary city. It's not doing so well.
Well, in a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state, when they make that proclamation or whatever, is actually against federal law.
Yep.
So, and the Democrats have actually set a pretty scary precedence. If we legalize marijuana in the state of Minnesota, it actually is against the federal law. So we're saying that we're not going to follow federal law. The sanctuary state, if that happens, once again, you're going to, say we're not going to follow federal law. At what point then do local officers, counties, whatever the case is, say, we don't appreciate or like what the state is promoting. So we're just going to make ourselves a sanctuary state of the sanctuary state, and we're not going to abide by state laws. We're creating a lawlessness.
Yeah, Virginia actually did that a couple years ago when they were trying to do gun bans. The sheriffs came out like, yeah, we're not enforcing that.
Well, there again, it shows that disconnect between politics and the people right now, and ideologies, I guess, because you've
Yeah.
got that liberal socialist democrat ideologies that are pushing to virtually change the society, and we need to recorrect.
Yeah.
We need to,
And the thing is, the way they're doing things even is a different way of thinking, because it's a little disingenuous, if I'm going to use that word. I hope I'm
Putting-
using it correctly.
putting it nicely, I guess.
Yeah, just you're going around, you're skirting behind, you're kind of cheating in a way to just do that.
But there again, a lot of these laws, a lot of what's happening, it really follows the Alinsky rules, basically.
Yeah.
Make other people follow their standards, their their rules basically, but never have any of your own. There's so many of those things that I see the Democrats do, and look at Saul Alinsky. That book had laid it out. Obama was a big fan of it. Hillary Clinton supported it, and the Democrats are big into following that mantra, and that is not healthy for our country, for our state. So we're seeing resolutions for like the flag as well, and I got to commend our counties for stepping up and saying, "Look, we want the flag. You know, we need to stop erasing Native American history." You know, I believe this is racist.
We gotta stop erasing our heritage. It's a revisionist history, if I'm gonna throw that term out.
And
We're revising.
it's revisionist history, but there again, like I said, they're attacking Native Americans and saying that it's racist. You are racist by erasing their history.
Yeah, and yeah. Also, I hope Land O'Lakes goes out of business. I know it's a tangent, but like they did the same thing. And it's like it's racist to look at people. Like they just and with Native Americans, the thing that bothers me the most is that they'll trot them out. They'll trot them out like dogs at a dog show and be like, "Oh, look at the Native Americans. They're so oppressed. White man bad. We need a new policy." But then once they get their way, back on the reservation, shut up.
Have the
It's
conditions gotten better on the reservations with government control?
no, no, reservations are not to like crap on the reservations. I know a couple of Native American Indians and they're great people. It's
Well, it's
just
tragic if the policies
there's such
that have
bad
kept
stereotypes.
well, if the policies that have kept the reservations and the conditions there um as bad as they are, then why do you keep pushing for Democrat control and infringement on those the Native American communities? Because it is not helping. It is making the situation worse. When they talked about legalizing marijuana, I was talking to a friend that's from the reservation, and I said, look at it this way. We know about the addiction problems that are on the reservations. We know this. This is statistically there. And now you're going to take marijuana, legalize it, and it's going to be legal on the reservations first. I said, you remember the old westerns that used to be on TV?
Yeah.
And you saw these bad actors basically who would bring alcohol onto the reservations, right? Get the Indians all liquored up, right?
Yep.
Okay, I said this is a modern day version of that.
Yeah. Isn't that
Bringing
how
marijuana, which we already have addiction issues on the reservation, and you're going to legalize it there and say, oh, we're going to make things better on the reservation by bringing in and legalizing another, addictive substance. This is just
yeah. Well, I believe the British did that to China for they called it the Opium Wars. Same thing. They got them addicted to opium and then they kind of just took over.
not really the Indians, though. That was the Asians.
Yeah, I know. It's a similar it was it history doesn't repeat, it rhymes.
That's what Mark Twain says.
Yeah, so there's another historical example.
So no, using that, and there's not a society that has gotten better by legalizing marijuana or normalizing it. And there's the thing, that didn't have to be legalized. In the 1930s is when actually marijuana became illegal, right? As a society, we said we don't want these things.
Yep.
And then the federal government says, well, we're going to make it illegal. Now we're making it legal, but will it improve society?
I suppose we're gonna find out, but
I'll look at the addiction rates in California.
yeah.
The statistics are there.
So
Out of all the marijuana that's grown there, 30% of it is legal marijuana, 70% is still illegal. You've got the black market there that's going on, and it's just still crime, associated with this. It is not going to make our society better.
so what about alcohol? That's an addictive substance. Should we ban that? Should we ban that too?
Didn't work out really well, though, did it?
No, and apparently neither is this marijuana ban. So
Hang on a second.
let's see how things.
What do you mean?
Well, because when we had prohibition, people kept drinking. But I actually have right. Just give me a second. Yeah, no, people quit, and then like people, it was so out of touch that people kept drinking. They started moonshining, doing bootlegging, the whole thing, and it's kind of similar. There's a lot less time because I guess you don't mess with people's booze, but like
Well-
with the marijuana, it's people are growing it themselves and selling it. Kind of a very similar thing.
But there again, when you have overregulation or regulation into the government putting their fingers into things, it creates more problems.
Yep.
Right? So it created bootlegging, it created the issues, and then we say, well, this didn't work.
Yeah. And a lot of people
You're right.
killed because of it. Like shoot, what's that gangster?
Al Capone.
Yeah, Al Capone. He wouldn't have been a thing if it weren't for prohibition.
Right.
He made so much money on that. So you create like a supervillain almost. Not like super as in like he's like big guy. Like big name, everyone knows it. I just forget. And he would not have been a thing if it weren't for prohibition.
Right. And in marijuana, I think we're going to create the same thing though, because there's still, because of the regulation that is going to take place, like I said, in California, 70% of the marijuana that's still grown is illegal.
Yeah.
Because of the regulation that's in place there, you can't, because of taxes and so on and so forth, it's still cheaper to go grow your own somewhere out in the California foothills and sell it and try to undercut the legal market.
Yeah. Well, it's
So-
also cheaper to make your own beer if you know how to do
But
it.
it is.
So, yeah, fun fact, I know how to make beer.
So there we are. We've ranted a little bit. It's almost 10 o'clock here. It's been a good week. I look forward to next week.
What are we looking
things.
forward to next week?
Well, caucuses on Tuesday.
Yep.
Looking forward to coming home. I've got stuff going on Monday. Go down to the Capitol. I'll come back. We got caucuses Monday. One of the things I'm not looking forward to, but we will be there to support the families, for the Burnsville police. And I'll be there Wednesday morning as the game plan. So once again, our condolences to the families of the fallen officers from Burnsville. So
Anyway,
anything else?
I got nothing. Ending on a sad note, a tragedy.
It is. A little bit.
It's also kind of like a motivational. We gotta work on our communities.
Absolutely.
There's stuff that needs doing. But
Sure.
anyway,
Well, good.
this is
Thanks for
Pints of Politics.
Perfect. Once again,
Thank you so much for watching.
you bet.
Godspeed.
Take care.